Everybody knows Chidi.
Yes, but let's take it up again.
Okay, so this is Chidi, the troublemaker. I'm based in Toronto, Canada. I'm an unapologetic Igbo man. Good. I am an indigenous person of Biafra. I may not be a registered member of IP0B, but I recognize myself as an indigenous person of Biafra.
So you support IP0B?
Which is IP0B. Yes, I support them. I support IP0B. I have helped to raise funds for ESN. So I support ESN. I am a member of the Take It Back movement. I am a member of the Revolution Now movement, and I belong to the African Action Congress. I'm also a title chief from my village, not a diaspora chief. So respect me when we see
Okay, that was very nice. Thank you. That sets everything in proper situation for us. I'm happy to.
And don't forget, I was a past governorship candidate. Since we're talking politics.
Of which state?
Of Enugu State. Enugu. So you can feel free to address me as Your Excellency.
Your Excellency.
Yes, you're right. You're right about that. You're very welcome to Nigeria Town Hall. So, what do you understand as the Igbo question?
No, wait, hold on.
Regina,
okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Please, Regina, hold on.
Okay.
Before we go to the Igbo question, we wanted to deal with this IP0B, unknown gunmen, and the people that are exploiting the situation in the Southeast.
Yes.
Look, I belong to the Nigerians that believe that the people that are doing this are supporters of Nnamdi Kanu. So, Chidi, I want you, and I know there are many people that are watching this, even Igbos who are watching this, who believe that the people doing this, who are part of these atrocities, shooting, killing, burning people, buildings, are part of the IP0B struggle. So please, can you convince us this evening who these people are? What are they? Please.
You see, perception is very strong, and there's really nothing I can do about perception. It is what it is. Now, with the Biafran struggle, just like in every other struggle, it's going through a moment. Okay, if you're a freedom fighter and you are in a war, I was just talking about that in a show a while ago. If you're in a war, you recognize that you fight battles. Some battles you win, some battles you lose, but the end goal is to win the war. So when you lose some battles, it's not the end. It is a bend, not an end. And so with IP0B, with the struggle for emancipation, for the freedom of the Biafran people, a lot of things will happen. A lot of things have happened, but they are still resolute in where they are going. Now, what brought about IP0B opting to carry guns is that the insecurity that they talked about in the early days, which government officials, including your friends on this show, denied and made light of, has almost swallowed the whole nation right now. It is the same thing they were talking about insecurity in the Northeast, talking about these people entering trailers and coming to the Southeast. So instead of waiting for people to be murdered like they are murdered in hundreds in the Southeast, Nnamdi Kanu is like, no, not my people. You are not providing the security that we need. You only come and mount roadblocks and steal money from the traders because we are predominantly traders. Since you allowed the people to go and take over our forests, rape our women, prevent us from going to farm, we are going to protect ourselves. And while you had something like ISBA or whatever, some other militant groups out there in the north, and eventually you had Amotekun in the west, and yet the northeastern governors were not doing anything, it was forced to establish ESN. And I'm telling you, anybody who identifies with Biafra or the Southeast, in the middle of all the insecurity, that saw that movement, that collection of people, first of all, people said it was doctored video. But when they realized that was a real video of men, it gave us goose pimples. For the first time, we felt a little bit of protection. Now, fast forward to the point where Nnamdi Kanu was illegally renditioned to Nigeria. That is a hit in the war. That is one of those battles where you pull back and you lick your wound, because getting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a hit, a big blow on the Biafran people. With that, the Biafran people now, in trying to defend and to stand behind their leader, said, we are going to embark on a sit at home. We are going to revolt. We are going to say, no, what you did is bad. Because the Nigerian government, you are a lawyer, you know what they did was also wrong. I know I'm wasting time. Let me hit the point right now. In doing all that, the Nigerian military, instead of focusing on the terrorists that are in the northeast ravaging and killing people and doing all that, they are like, no, we will focus on the southeast. Now, what has happened, and agreeably, is that the whole situation about sitting at home and resisting, and you can understand, it is a non-military strategy that you strike the head and the body will scatter. By the time they struck Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, understandably, there became a little bit of confusion. It was difficult to control what was already established, because then what started happening is people started abusing the sit at home, started enforcing it. When IP0B saw that things were getting out of hand, IP0B came out and said, the same way we declared a sit at home, we are calling it off. So that if you see any, because what was happening was somebody will go and rob a bank, he'll say, oh, hey, Biafra, they will wear IP0B emblem. Somebody will go and kidnap people, they will wear IP0B emblem. IP0B came out and said, the same way we announced to you that we are doing this, we have pulled back, we are no longer doing it. Some elements, for their own reason, which I don't understand, they said, no, we must continue.
So Chidi, Chidi. So right now,
in effect, my brother, right now,
there's no sit at home. There's no sit at home, no IP0B sit at home right now.
IP0B does not do any sit at home. The only sit at home that IP0B does, IP0B says when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to go to court, they will announce it, but they're not even doing that one anymore. So do you know, let me tell you strategically what they did. Anytime there's a sit at home, people will come to try to stop other people who are trying to not sit at home. About 500 people will be arrested. These people will be taken to Abuja, and IP0B would have to come and bail these people, call lawyers, do a lot of things, because they ordered the sit at home. At the point where IP0B said we are no longer doing sit at home, if they arrest anybody, they don't call IP0B anymore, because IP0B has said it is not them. But right now, you have actors, you have wannabes, you have people who are mischievous, pure criminals. So what you're seeing now is just criminal elements engaging in criminal activity, which the police is supposed to take care of. But in a situation where the state has failed, the police cannot even do their job.
Chidi.
Of anarchy.
Okay, Chidi, let me ask you.
Wow, that's
why hasn't a high-ranking official of IP0B come out to condemn these killings, these burnings, and these shootings? Why haven't you guys come out with a declaration, with a statement in the press or whatsoever? I mean, someone like you, why have you not condemned this? Why have you guys not stood out and said, look, we are not part of this, we condemn this, and we encourage the Nigerian army or the police, if they find you, to arrest you and detain you? Why haven't you guys done that?
Can I answer that?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Yes.
It's been done a ton of times, but you don't listen to the airways where this is done. You didn't even know that the sit at home was called off. So how would you even know all the other things that are going on?
Okay, let me answer your INEC official. Let me answer your INEC official. I didn't hear any IP0B official come out to condemn the killing of that official that was murdered 4 weeks ago.
No,
and some politicians who were also
with due respect, Atta, that you did not hear it does not mean it was not done. And I'm telling you, there are publications. I can show you. IP0B has been making comments on these things. IP0B came out. You didn't know. IP0B said, we are not doing sit at home. Am I powerful? Listen, they told you that if anybody tells you that they are enforcing sit at home on behalf of IP0B, arrest that person and do whatever you want with him. It is a press statement. It is Google. It is existing. So that has cleared that question. The issue, not only that one, there was the time when someone went to a burial. Someone went to, meanwhile, let me put this disclaimer here. I am not IP0B spokesperson. I am just a supporter of IP0B. I'm just talking from general opinion as somebody who is close to, I follow their publication. You don't know because you're not close to them.
No, but where is this your publication? Okay,
so let me show you.
This couple,
let's Google. No.
This couple have been murdered. Which IP0B member official has come out to condemn the murder of this couple?
It's
not in the press.
We need to be careful what we're trying to do here.
I'm telling you, no one has seen it.
Atta, you need to be careful. Let's be careful here. Okay, let's be careful. It is not every black man who commits a crime around the world that's my brother. And you, Atta, you have not come out to every time somebody's from your town or your state or your village does something, you have not made it a point of duty to come and defend it. You have asked for a press statement. What does a press statement do? Listen to me. I am not holding forth for IP0B, so I don't know why we should argue this thing that much. All I can tell you is this: when you're trying to establish, if right now, because that was the first point you made, if had you known that IP0B had called off their sit at home, if you hear that anybody is trying to enforce sit at home, you'll be asking yourself, who are these people?
Okay,
now, let me address the election for you. Let me address the election.
Explain the
election where people, that election, that INEC official who people went and shot.
Yes.
Let me tell you, those people, they were so moronic in their activities. Let me tell you what they did. They went and killed those people, and they recorded a video. Towards the end of the video, do you know what they said? They said, this is UGM. This is UGM. We are making sure that do you know what UGM means?
Unknown gunmen.
Exactly.
But these are unknown gunmen that are supporting IP0B. This is the point.
Well, what is IP0B?
You guys have to come out and condemn these killings. You have to condemn
they have condemned it. What in practical terms?
Condemn it.
You don't know now. This is press statement.
I have not seen it. I've not read it. I've not seen it anything.
Let me Google it.
Why is it my problem that you have not seen it? Why is it my problem?
This couple.
All right.
This couple that were
I just told you about the election.
Official has come out.
Okay, what's your statement? What's your statement? Okay, you said that because the people that did it are sympathizers of IP0B. IP0B is now taking responsibility.
I'm not saying IP0B is taking responsibility. My point is this: ordinary Nigerians like me feel
you have a right. It's your opinion now. It's your opinion.
No. It's a reflection on you. It's a perception. Hold on. I am telling you.
Okay, I have the mic. One after the other. I have the mic. One after the other.
Listen. A couple were going for their wedding.
Yes.
And they were killed. If you read the comments,
yes.
Now you're going to see people are commenting and saying the thing they don't like about ECN is that they're going around killing people. So there's a perception. And for you to kill that perception is you have to come out and condemn.
Can I say something? Hold on, everybody. Premium Times states IP0B denies responsibility for the murder of army couple in Imo. The army couple was on their way to their wedding in Imo recently when they were killed by unknown gunmen. The indigenous people of Biafra have denied responsibility for the killing of this couple. Spokesperson of the group, Ima Powerful, stated this in a statement on Wednesday. So you have done that, but what in practical terms, considering that everybody sees IPOB as responsible for the unrest, what is IPOB doing in practical terms to protect the people? I mean, you all started this
so can I?
the people.
Okay, good.
Now it has gone around.
I am an advocate for POB, and the thing I like about the learned gentleman Atta is that he knows when you have boxed him in it, like a lot. You know, when you hit him with facts, he asked for a statement. Now he got a statement.
No,
but it's okay. Just
but the perception is still there. The perception is still there.
So what has IPOB done?
I can condemn something to cover up. I can condemn something just to cover up.
So listen to me. You cannot be the judge and the jury. You have now talked about statements. You said they never condemned it. They've shown you now that they've condemned it. You don't say no, the condemnation is a cover-up. We can't win.
But the cover-up happens. Cover-ups do happen for damage control. But what is the practical thing IPOB is doing in protection of the citizens in that part of Nigeria?
Okay, so listen.
Yeah.
Do you see your question? IPOB right now is not going to be involved in protecting any citizen. Listen to me now. Because IPOB came out with ESN, Eastern Security Network. And what the government did was to go and tell the federal government that this ESN is an illegal group, that they should fight them and kill them off. So now the thing is, how do you want, are you saying that IPOB should actually go and protect the citizens who are the responsibility of the military and the police? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, hold on for me. Let me read a comment. It says, Regina, you missed it. Keshumo says, deny and condemn are two different things. You may have denied responsibility, but did you condemn it? IPOB denied the act, but they did not condemn it. Fabian says,
that's right.
It's not ESN, because before the ESN, there was killings in Southeast. We heard about cattle herders killings before the ESN. But let's come back. Let's come back to deny and condemn.
No. Gentleman and lady, I would please beg not to go into certain rhetorics with us. Okay, I obliged this discussion because you got it to a point where you asked for proof. Now we're not going to go into logic of what
it's not logic. It's not logic.
Calm down.
Condemn Chidi. Come on now, Chidi. You yourself, Chidi, can you condemn that thing now? Can you condemn it as a supporter of IPOB and say you condemn in the strongest terms the killing of that couple? Can you condemn it?
Can I speak? Can I speak now? Okay.
Yes.
You know, Atta, this is what used to happen in the past, but I won't let it happen again. You see, and you know we're brothers, we understand ourselves, and you're a lawyer, so I will not surrender myself to that anymore. Whereby I enter into a place with you, and you think you want to box me or say, Chidi, condemn. Well, I condemned it even before we started this. I told you that I watched the video.
No, you showed us the video. You not condemn it.
What are you saying? It is condemnable. Killing anybody is condemnable. Why would you think that I will be? Of course, I condemn it. I'm saying, let us stop playing with words.
Good.
If you did not,
the words are important. It may not be important.
Thank you, sir. He has condemned it. He has condemned it outright. He has denied it and he has condemned it outright. There's nothing else to say.
And can I say something that will help you? My condemning it and denying it, I am not IPOB. You have a right, even after condemning it, there is nothing stopping you from saying, Chidi, I don't believe you. Chidi, you're pretending. You think that's going to be my headache? It's not my headache. That's why you are an individual. You're entitled to your own opinion, your perception, and the perception of all of those things that you see. It's valid. Like people perceive Buhari to be a criminal, to be a murderer. Everything that happens is Buhari. When you bring your friend here, you see the kind of argument I have with him. I tell him that they are killers. He tell me, oh, Chidi, do you want? So it is for the sake of people who are watching us. There are things we don't like, but sometimes it is beyond what I myself like or how I perceive things. It's about what is out there. You started by saying this that happened. I verified it for you. I said I saw the video. Regina even thought maybe it was not real, that people are saying it's real. I confirmed to you that it was real, and I told you that time that it was horrible. And then you went into IP0B. You said IP0B didn't say anything. I told you that I had not even seen it, but I stood for IP, and I'm glad. I stood and said that I am sure, because IP0B, first of all, you talked about the sit at home. And I told you, IP0B has already removed themselves from sit at home. You say you didn't know. And I was like, you didn't know? But there's a statement. You say you hadn't seen that. Then you now came to the present one.
Okay.
And thank God. So can we move on now?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let me read a comment. Let me read a comment. Emmanuel Eagle says, my take here is, what are the governors doing about this? Because as the chief security officer of the state, their responsibility is to act and take action. Do you have any idea or any comment to make in that direction? Before we come to you, Atta, we'll be reading comments from the guests, sir. Okay?
Sure. The thing there is this. Talking about the governors will just be like, I don't even know. I already have my stamp. I already have my conclusion on them. They are inept. They are hopeless. They are the most horrible thing to happen to the Southeast. Because the reason why we are talking about insecurity is because they failed. The reason why you're talking about no water is because water works failed. The reason why you're talking about no light is because NEPA failed. Because the primary responsibility, the number one job of the governor of a state is the security of their citizen. And then you cannot begin to divide security into food security and other security, but security is the number one job. They are the chief security officers. So how do you even go into discussing what is going on there when they failed? What we are seeing is a manifestation of their failure.
Okay. All right. So when we started, I wanted to ask you your own understanding of the Igbo question and go to a very important question to say, will a Southern president or president of Igbo extract be able to quell the agitation that is going on in Igbo land? Or is the cause of Biafra way beyond quelling or way beyond containment? Where do we go from here?
Was that question for me?
Yes, but I know Atta will have something to say.
No. Let his
okay, sorry. Since now I know it's for me.
His Excellency, we're waiting on you. Go ahead.
Exactly. You know, if you had put His Excellency, I know it's me you're talking to.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Your Excellency, answer the question.
So your question is, you were talking about, please just take the question again, so I'll answer that.
Okay, so now there is the Igbo question. We've been talking on this program about the Igbo question, where Igbo people feel very marginalized and left out. Even though Atta on several occasions has listed the powerful positions occupied by Igbo people in the government. But the Igbos feel, so generally, that they are left out on the mainstream of the Nigerian polity. Now, this in so many ways led to the agitation for Biafra, right? And we're wondering now, to keep one Nigeria, to maintain peace and unity, it would be a good idea to have a president who is of Igbo origin. Now, if we succeed in having a president that is of Igbo origin or of the Southeast origin, would this be able to contain or stop the agitation for the Biafran nation? All
right, thank you very much. It's good you asked about stopping the agitation for the Biafran nation, because even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been asked on several occasions that, how about peradventure, this happens, that happens, this happens, would you abandon the struggle? And he said yes. The Biafran agitation is a vehicle, it's a name, it's a brand under which all the problems, all the agitations are expressed. agitations about marginalization, about this insecurity, about unfairness, and all of those things. So it is not a question of you must answer Biafra. It's just a question of, look, we demand that this inequality that we have and this bad treatment stop. Now, I am one of those people who do not like talking about Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo president. Why? And a lot of people seem to misunderstand when I say this. We seem to always think that, and I see that as the highest level of selfishness. We always think there's only Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa people in Nigeria. Excuse me, do you ever imagine how your friend who is Efik, who is Birom, who is Steve, do you ever imagine how they feel when you're having that discussion? But you don't care. Because once you say Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa is finished. If you knew how your friend is longing that you ever mention their people, you will stop talking like that. And based on that, what you want is not an Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba president. You want a good president in Nigeria. Because in every tribe, we have bad people. There are only two tribes that exist in Nigeria. The tribe of the oppressed and the tribe of the oppressors. And these oppressors can really oppress you. Go to a function that may be a wedding of one of their friends. All of them will come with their private jets to oppress you. Go and check those owners of those private jets. You will not find only houses there.
Sir, why does it sound like you're doing a political campaign? The thing is, you should not be tone deaf. We should not be tone deaf. The people agitating and causing trouble, really.
Okay. So let me come back to your question.
The people really speaking out against marginalization, agitating for an Igbo nation, are the people that are struggling for Biafra. So now, so that we're not tone deaf, if a president comes from that area, will there be peace? This is why I'm asking. And you have said yes. That if we stop all the denial, all the marginalizations, all the unfairness and incompatibilities or whatever, that there will be peace. Now we buy that. We all are aware that as Nigeria, we are made up of so many more tribal groups than the Hausa, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. These are just the three main representations of who we are, north, south, east, and west, and things like that. But we are trying to focus on the Igbo question, the Igbo story, and the quest for peace.
Okay. Let me tell you. You asked me. This is my opinion. I'm sorry if it doesn't rhyme with what you want.
It rhymes. It rhymes very well, but don't take it to make your political campaign because you already came dressed and ready.
Regina. If Atta says this, let me borrow from him. He who goes to equity must go with clean hands.
Good.
If you're talking about fairness and you're talking about the Igbo man, when will it be? Because after the Igbo man, then it goes to the Hausa man. When will it now come back? Or when you come back again, are you going to say that within the East? When will it be the turn of the Calabar man or the
Calabar man
or
is in the race? The Akwa Ibom man is in the race.
I'm just
everybody's in the race now from the south.
No. So if you are just thinking that way, then you're not being really very fair. But let me come back to that thought here.
Yes.
The genuine Igbo man.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. The genuine freedom fighter fighting for Igbo, the Igbo nation, is not interested in your Nigerian president. That's not what he's interested in. He's interested in who will give him Biafra. He is actually lost faith in all his politicians because all these people that are coming up now to want to be Igbo presidents, where were they? We want to see what was their contribution.
So he's interested in who will give him Biafra, meaning that even if the president is from the Igbo nation, they will still be agitating for who will give them Biafra. Is that what you're saying? I thought
what I'm saying is that if you get a bad person there,
okay.
So the come on, you think the tag that the Igbo tag makes you a good person? You think the Hausa tag makes you think being a Bibio means you will always be beauty queen all over
and this red beret and this orange beret does not make you any type of whatever. Anyway, let's move on. Atawa, are you so quiet? Let's move on.
I'm
Okay.
listening to my friend.
So at the end of the day, let me answer your question to be direct. It will be good to have an Igbo president, just as it will be good to have a president from any tribe who is qualified. But that will not stop the Biafran agitation. Let me just tell you that from what I know. The Biafran agitation and Igbo president are two separate things. That's why I told you that the people who are agitating for Biafra, their concern is not an Igbo president.
Okay, so it looks like this agitation will not stop.
All right. Okay. Chidi.
Sir.
Before, I'm hoping that His Excellency Gospel Akpabi will come in. But before we bring him in, let us be realistic about the Biafran agitation. Okay. The Biafran agitation itself, the man who introduced this whole notion about Biafra as a separate state, Odumegu Ojukwu, we have it on video on YouTube where he came out and said, Biafra is no more. And anyone who is carrying that sort of message is not in tune with the reality now in Nigeria. Okay. We all know what happened and why Biafra came about. And that was, and I keep going back to 1966. Okay. And your friend, that likable chief, I can't remember his name, Captain, what was his name now? That captain, that captain that appeared on your program. Mobosi, yes. Mobosi was part of the coup plotters. Okay, he was a captain at the time. Now I remember one thing he said, and very, very significant. Mobosi said the reason why they struck on January 1966, 15th, was because they had heard a report that the North were going to send soldiers to the Southwest, okay, and on the 17th of January. And so they struck on the 15th. Mobosi also went ahead to say that the reason why they had to intervene was because the soldiers that were going into the Southwest were people that were carrying the message of Usman Dan Fodio. All right. It's all on your video, okay? Now, that made me sit down and think, because it meant that the coup of January 15th, 1966 was an ethnic coup. And that's the truth. It was an ethnic coup. We will want to describe those soldiers as patriots. But after I heard what Mobosi said on your program, that the Northerners were carrying an Usman Dan Fodio agenda to the Southwest, I then realized there was an element of ethnicity in that coup. Now, we all know what happened. After that coup, there was a reprisal coup in July of 1966, where many Igbo officers were killed and murdered. And then we had the pogrom in the North, where you had loads and loads of Easterners and Southerners that were killed and had to go back to South. And then we had the Civil War. Now, here's my point. And you know, we have to be sensitive. I'm not in your shoes. I'm not an Igbo man. So I don't know how you feel, okay, about Nigeria, okay? I regard myself as a patriot, all right? I also told you that Igbos came to Akwa Ibom State and killed a lot of my people, murdered a lot of my people. Now, here's what I'm saying. This Biafran agitation, my brother, here's my point. We know that Biafran, some Igbos are hurting. Now, a lot of you Igbos that are agitating Biafra were not even born at the time. You are not born at the time. 90% of Igbos that are agitating for Biafra, no, but they are carrying the stories, the pain of their mothers and their fathers and their uncles. Those are the stories that are causing this agitation. Now, Yes. Oh, yes. My brother.
I want to respond to that.
Okay, this is it, my brother. I want to ask a question. If Nigeria were able to come up with a panel, a conflict resolution panel, because there's pain. This is not about Biafra. This is about pain. This is about unresolved pain of what happened during the Biafran War and what you describe as an exclusion from the polity. Now, here's what I'm saying, because I've not told you this, my brother. I sent a document to my MP. He asked me to put a document together, okay? Honorable Onofio Gluck. And that document was for the House of Representatives, because it was actually Femi Adesina that gave me the idea. He said to me, yes, it's possible for Nigeria to come up with a panel. I mean, they did it in South Africa. It was done in Rwanda, a panel of peace and conflict resolution, where the tribes will come together and will talk about the pains of what went on during the Civil War. Now, I'm asking you, would you support such a panel where you, the Igbo man, the Yoruba man, the Hausa man, the Ibibio man, the Ijaw man, we can come together and we can really sort out the issues of 1966, but even go beyond that. Ask ourselves, because we still have not asked ourselves the question, what does it mean to be a Nigerian? What is the Nigerian dream? Who is a Nigerian? What is the place of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations in the world? These are fundamental questions we haven't answered. And I can tell you this before I stop. 99.9% of Nigerians don't have a sense of ownership of their land. And you, my brother, you're one of them, because you're talking about living in Nigeria. But you were born a Nigerian. You carry a Nigerian passport. Everything you have now, the wife you married, the children you have, they're all Nigerians. Nigeria has given you a lot. Why would you want to leave Nigeria, my brother? I think it is time for you and I to sit down and talk about what has happened to us as a people. Please, your response.
Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mention it. I spent a lot of money to get that. So when you say you mention, it needs to be recognized. Now, Aka, it's not a question you've asked me. You did rant sometimes. You did express yourself, but I'll take it all. I'll kind of summarize it. You see, you are absolutely wrong, my brother, by making a statement that the Biafran agitation is based on stories that were told by parents. We didn't need a parent to show us a child in Niger Delta attending primary school, sitting on the floor, and people who do not come from that same area. Meanwhile, he goes to the water that he goes to fish is polluted. There are no roads leading to his place. And yet, people from areas that are not that area, their kids will show videos online where they're driving sports cars, flying private jets. No, our parents didn't have to show us. We felt it. We didn't need any stories from our parents to have a shop in Onitsha, but to import a container, and the container will have to land in our Papa port in Lagos, and then we would have to go to Lagos to bring that container pass up to 200 police checkpoints before it arrives in Onitsha. Meanwhile, there's a seaport close by Calabar, and you can actually dredge River Niger and bring that container right to my doorstep. It didn't have to take our parents to tell us that. It didn't have to take our parents to make me go to school in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in a prefabricated building, MSc student, but only to travel to University of Zaria, University of Jos, University of Benin, and see the edifices that were there. He didn't take my parents. These were practical experiences. You cannot go to Nigeria right now, like somebody commented. They need to just be beaten by mosquito in the night where there is no light, and they need to go fed. Do you understand? It is the experience right now. So on that, you failed flat. The agitation is based on what we are seeing right now. That's what
you're not the only
based on.
ones. You're not the only ones.
I let you talk. You have to let me finish. Now, when you're talking about, I've challenged you several times about this, that Nigerians are the most patriotic human beings you can ever have. And I see it as a direct affront and very unfair every time you keep accusing Nigerians that they are not patriotic, they don't know. Who told you? Who told you? Have you seen us playing football? What else does the country Nigeria want us to do for them? What else? We stay. It is, come on, it is only in Nigeria that you will subject people to the kind of thing you subject them by our leaders, and they are still looking at it. They would have killed all of you off. That is patriotic, but we still continue to push. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will go to work for 7 months. His salary is not paid, and he still work, and you say they are not patriotic. What do you want them to do for you? It is only in Nigeria that somebody will take the money for drugs in a hospital and go and buy a house in Canada and US, and children will be dying because there are out of stock drugs, and yet these people will still accept this honorable member back in their village. What are you? Why are you accusing these people? So all of the things that you see, and then you tell me about a panel. Do you know there was a panel that was set up after the war? And when they said no victor, no vanquished by General Yakubu Gowon, the prefabricated building that I attended classes in 1987, 88. 87, 88. These were things they agreed to rebuild after 1969. How many years later, when I went to university, I still met those structures? And you think that is fair? Nobody did what the panel was. There was a panel. They had resolutions. There were things they were supposed to do. Had they done what they were supposed to do, by now we wouldn't be talking what we are talking. So I don't know why you keep defending these people that saw exactly what they were supposed to do, refused to do it. That is the problem. All those old leaders that are like these people, they are very wicked, though, because they knew what to do, but year after year after year after year. Do you see Nigeria? Atta, Regina, do you see Nigeria? Is it the same Nigeria we left when? Do you see Nigeria?
Yes, we see Nigeria.
Do you see Nigeria? Is it IP0B that got us to where we are now?
Mm-mm.
Is it IP0B?
Okay. You speak very well. Okay, good answer. And thank you for taking us through the things you have mentioned, believe it or not, have been experienced by many people in Nigeria, many people in the south of Nigeria. Nico Briggs from Port Harcourt said, why is it not Nigeria's devastation? Why is it just devastation in River State? But then it's everybody's oil. It's Nigeria's oil, but it's not Nigeria's devastation. She made a statement like that, talking about, the inequalities in development and inequalities in sharing the resources or sharing the proceeds from resources.
I'd like to answer Chidi, Regina, when you're through.
Yes. Oh, okay. Because I wanted to ask him the way forward. Atta has brought up like a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. He has submitted, a proposal for the truth where everybody will come to the table and move forward. But what I'm hearing from you, Chidi, and what I'm reading from our guests or from our viewers is that whether there is a southern president or not, because the expectation is if the president is from the south, if the president is someone who has lived and experienced all these things you have mentioned, who has seen and understands all these things you have mentioned, he'll be minded, or he'll have the political will to correct it and balance out these inequalities. But from what I'm hearing from you and from what I'm reading, it says whether the president is from the south or not, the agitation for Biafra will continue. When a woman is bent on leaving her husband, the only thing she will accept is his head on a platter. That means that Biafra or IPOB is not out for peace with Nigeria. They are out to fight to the end. Where do we go from here? Because from all indications, people are working towards peace. People are working towards reconstruction, reconciliation, and forgiveness. But it seems like Biafra and IPOB, they are giving that handshake, or they're reaching out to that handshake with a closed fist. Nothing positive can come from that. Where do we go from here?
So let me see. Unless we are not being sincere. I saw some people asking, is it only the Southeast that is being marginalized? Is it only the Southeast that is facing that? You know what? It's interesting. It is interesting that it took so many years and so many happenings, and trains being, big men being kidnapped in trains, and the whole local government area being taken over by Boko Haram, and taxes being collected, and Christians being forced into Islam. It took all that for people to actually begin to believe that what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was talking about, a Fulanization agenda, was real. So I cannot tell you how to cry. If somebody beat two of us, maybe you are the kind of person who has the ability to take the, just like you talked about a woman in marriage, there are some women who are willing to take the beating. Look at Osinachi, the singer that died recently. Everybody tried to intervene, said, don't worry, God will fix it. I don't have to tell every woman to be like Osinachi. There are some women, some psychedelic. I know one woman like that. Her name is Regina. If you try that thing on her, she will keep you. So,
why are you so troublesome? Oh my God.
So it is not my fault if some people are facing marginalization and they don't want to express it the way the Biafran people are expressing it. Biafran people are like, no, we're better than this. Why should I sit down and take the position you're putting me? So that's why you see the Biafran people the way they are.
Okay.
They have given you, look at the most peaceful people, just like I said about the Nigerian people. The Igbo man, let me use the Igbo man right now. The Igbo man has been so patiently facing his business. You know what he's been trying to do? Remember, he woke up after the war and all he had in his account was 25 pounds. He has been building that 25 pounds to where now he is a billionaire. So do you think all that time he was fighting, he was quarreling? And I remember Atta talked very well when we had this issue about Igbo people and Ibibio people, right? We talked about it. And he talked about how Igbo people come and they've taken lands, and the Igbo people, I'm telling you, are the most peaceful people you can ever find, because a businessman, let me tell you why.
Let me tell laugh in French. It's peaceful.
Okay. You see, let me tell you why. And this is just common sense. Honestly, just common sense. You see that man who has a shop and he attends to a lot of people. He knows very well that what will guarantee a customer coming back is his relationship with that customer.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
that's true.
The Igbo man goes to your place. He is a foreigner. That is not his land. I am still waiting for someone to come and show me where an Igbo man goes to a place and fights the people living there and dispossesses them of their land. What the Igbo man does is he comes to your place. He rents a tiny room, even if it is a kitchen, makeshift kitchen. He will be staying in that kitchen. He will go and do bacha, and he will start selling provision or mechanic or something. That's how he normally starts. Then as the business grows, he's the one that will leave your town and go down to Lagos, do night bus, buy things. He starts, and then after a while, he asks you to show him a piece of land where he will buy. Show me the one they took without buying.
And then he brings his brothers and he dominates the whole place.
So I'm coming. No. And I see that's the problem.
Chidi, I'm coming to your village. You're gonna give me land.
You are a liar.
I'm coming to your village. You're gonna give me land.
Ask him to give you land.
So listen.
Igbos don't give other people land.
No. Listen, Ata. See, I like to be factual. Yes. There are issues in the past. If that's what you want to go to. If you want to talk about abandoned property and not, if you can always keep going back to that, and everybody has their blame, everybody has their problems. And I'm not saying Igbo people are angels, but I'm trying to tell you, as I speak to you in Enugu State, there are plots of land that are advertised for sale, even estates. You will not go there, you will not bring money, and they will tell you that because you're an able man, they will not sell to you. I don't know why people keep doing that. The only reason why you will not go there is that you are not willing. You're not willing to go. The evil man is usually shown the evil forest. You're not willing to go to that evil forest and build your house and sleep on the bare floor. But the evil man is willing to do that for 3 years. Of course, after 3 years, he's going to call his brother. Show me where the law says that you cannot bring your brother to buy land.
Okay. All right.
So your problem is that he brings his brothers to come.
Okay, Chidi. Before I say what I want to say, where was Biafran agitation when one of your brothers in 1979 was the vice president of Nigeria? Where was Biafran agitation when Ojukwu came back from Ivory Coast, or where did he go to, and came established a party? Campaign was actually, I was a lawyer in INEC when I saw Ojukwu's letter to contest. In fact, that was the first time I realized that he actually studied in Oxford. Now, where was Biafran agitation when all this was going on?
So your
Chidi,
question.
So Chidi. No, hold on. Okay. I'm just throwing that in.
Okay.
Chidi, let me tell you what Nigeria is like. Nigeria is like a man and a woman that fell in love. Okay.
They never fell in love.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Nigeria.
The man who was
hold on. Okay. Nigeria is like
a man,
a man and a woman
who adopted
had
an
arranged marriage. Okay.
No,
fine.
No,
now the white man
doesn't work. No, you must get the right premise, because we have a woman here.
Okay, name
respect to her.
Name the premise. Name the premise.
Well, yeah, the premise is not. It wasn't an argument. The woman was not part of the marriage. Now, were we? No. You know the constitution. That's why we are trying. We don't have a constitution that says we
Chidi.
the people and everybody came together and had that constitution.
Chidi.
All right.
I am talking about what happened in 1914, the amalgamation of the North and Southern Protectorate of Nigeria. No, hold on. Let me finish what I have to say.
It was by force.
Yes. So that's why I say it was an arranged marriage. So we came together, okay? That coming together was a stranger putting us together as a people. Now, here's my point. My point is this. From 1914 to today, Chidi, you and I, we have not sat down and asked ourselves, who are we? What is a Nigerian? Who is a Nigerian? No, listen. There is no conference, no national conference we've ever had.
Saying this?
I'm telling you, there has been no national. Well, listen. In 1966, what we had were regional governments coming together to form one country. They had no vision for Nigeria. Awolowo had no vision for United Nigeria. Zik had no vision for United Nigeria. Abadu Bello had no vision for a United Nigeria. It was the British that brought us together and said, look, we want you to be united. Left on our own free will, we won't be a nation. So here's what I'm saying. Since the British brought us together, and since the British were the ones that basically coalesced this union, and this marriage, and we've been forced to live together. Have we ever, and this is my question, have we ever sat down and said, okay, this marriage has issues and problems. I am not happy. You are not happy. The Calabar man is not happy. The Hausa man is not happy. The Yoruba man is not happy. Why have we never sat down as a people and said, look, ask the first question, who is a Nigerian? What is a Nigerian? Where is the place of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations? And let me say this, Nigeria is one of the few nations I know that has no vision and no mission. And that is why when we elect our leaders, we elect leaders to build us roads, hospitals, and airports and all that. But let me tell you, the leader of a country, all right, you elect a leader, you appoint or elect a leader, not just to build those roads and those hospitals, but to lead you, because Nigeria is part of a planet, part of a committee of nations. And I'm telling you that part of the problem we have in Nigeria, and this is why I keep talking about patriotism, because the leaders we have in Nigeria, they're not from Mars, my brother. The leaders we have in Nigeria are not from Pluto. They're not from Venus. They are Nigerians like you and I. They started like us. Okay?
I'm getting confused.
No.
I think
here is my point. My point is this, okay? Mm-hmm. My point is this. Until we come together, until we have a conference where we can ask ourselves issues about who we are and what we are, there will be no peace in
What was the national conference that was had in Nigeria during Jonathan? What's that conference?
The national conference was about how much oil, how much revenue from oil I should have. We didn't ask those important questions about citizenship. We didn't ask questions about who we are and what we are as a people. Listen, my brother, hold on. Let me land. The Nigerian, this is what the Nigerian does. He goes to school. His parents struggle to put him in primary school. His parents struggle to put him in secondary school. He manages from his hustles and his parents, puts himself through university. Hold on. By final year, he's thinking about how he's going to get a job. He's eyeing one girl in the university and says, this is the kind of girl I'd like to marry, but I can't marry her without buying a car. So he begins to calculate and he begins to put the sum total of his life together, okay? He has no vision for his country. He does not think about his nation. All he thinks about is, when I finish school, I'm going to work, I'm going to rent a house, I'm going to marry a girl, and then we're going to start working and have babies. That's all. But there is no collective vision, like you see in China, where children are trained from year 0 to sing the national anthem, to understand, to take ownership of their nation. We don't have that. Now, I'm not saying having your personal ambition is not important, but I'm saying that for us to move as a nation, we must have a sense of ownership. We must be patriotic. And this is what is missing in Nigeria. And I keep saying this. We have never in the history of Nigeria come together and said, who are we? That's what I'm saying tonight. We need to ask ourselves that question.
Even if we ask ourselves that question at this point, right? I think that there's bound to be a Nigeria without the Southeast, because the Southeast is bent on leaving this amalgamation.
No. If we answer that question, we answer the question for the Southeast, because then let me tell you something we're going to do. That question will now focus, will now turn our eyes and say, look, this Igbo man is my brother. What did I do to him during the Civil War that is hurting him?
It's not only the Civil War.
Hold on.
The Civil War. He has mentioned all the things.
I think I was waiting to talk. I was waiting to talk, so I don't know who's moderating.
Just one more point. Secondly, could it be I'm excluding the Igbo man from Nigeria from the committee? Is it and could it be that I'm unconsciously excluding the Igbo man from? I mean, why should we even talk about Igbo president? That means there's a problem. No one is talking about Yoruba president. No one is mentioning Hausa man. why are we saying, is it time for the Igbo man to be president? That means there's a problem, and we need to address that problem.
Okay. So let me try to harmonize what you're saying, because that's why I said I'm getting confused here. Because on one hand, when you say there's no patriotism, I hope with those compassionate points I made, it was you I was trying to win.
That's not patriotism. That's not patriotism. Now. To wait for your salary it's not patriotism to be patient that someone will pay your salary. It's not. I'm talking about the nation, Nigeria. I'm not talking about bad leadership. Bad leadership is part of the fact that we're not a patriotic people, because those leaders are not from Mars. They're not from stars from elsewhere. They are Nigerians like you and I. Just like you, Chidi. If you had become a governor,
wait, please,
Chidi,
let me come in here.
Chidi, if you had become a governor, you still have been a Nigerian. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, you have to comport yourself and let me talk, because I started talking with Virgin again.
It's very passionate. Come on.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me say this. When Atta says that Nigerians are not patriotic because the leaders are Nigerians, I was trying to say that, but you're entitled to your own opinion. I will tell you that it is so unfair for you, anytime you talk, to look at Nigerians and what they are going through, and add
everybody.
You really have to control yourself, because we're not in court. Just hold yourself. Let me do my own. So you see, if you add that burden of patriotism on them, that would be too unfair. That would be too mean. Because I'm telling you, you tend to be very idealistic sometimes when you say these things. They don't address the situation right now. You see, we can stay here and speak all the grammar, but you stand up and say that the Nigerian who has not had light for a long time, who is going through hell, like somebody said here, and you're saying that person is not patriotic.
No.
You will now go back again and talk about there's never been a time that we came together.
Yes.
I reminded you that during Jonathan, we had a national conference.
It was about revenue. It was about physical revenue. It was about revenue.
Every time you say something didn't happen, and I tell you that it's happened, you now say it was not that. I mean, if you say there was no national conference, and now you hear that there was a national conference, the thing there that I agree with you is not to say that there was no national conference. But the problem is that the recommendations of that conference were not adhered to, because you would have to go and check to see that that conference was all embracing. There was nothing off the table. Why are you saying no now? I thought you need to go back. People made presentations. Even during the Oputa panel, people were allowed to make presentations even about the war.
That's not what I'm talking about.
If we are to go by your analogy, whether it happens exactly the way you proposed it, or the way you, almost like an academic exercise, the way you want it to be, whether it happens like that or not, it will be very, very, should I say, unpracticable for you to assume that right now, you don't need rocket science to know what is the pain of every Nigerian right now. You keep talking about Nigerians coming to see who we are, who we are not, and people like IP0B have told you that they have sat down together. The wife that you married, by however way you married her, who has been keeping up with you all these years, woke up one day and said, "Nah, I want us to talk. Are you mad? Do you know who I am? I am the man in this house.
Who has said that?
So now you have grown to the point where you even tell me that you want to talk with me. You go to work. This woman calls you another day and say, nah, I really want us to talk. You're not listening to me. Say, but if I see you again, these are all the attempts.
What is the talk about? What is the talk about? The talk is that I'm leaving your house. The talk is I'm ready to pack my things out of your house. You're not talking to settle the issue.
Okay, let me bring it down to specifics. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, before it got to where it got to right now, and you said, why did the agitation start? Atta, you need to really go and study a lot of history, because every time you say something didn't happen, it actually happened. Agitation, mass-sub was not during the time of Buhari.
Where did Nnamdi Kanu start from?
Where did Nnamdi Kanu do what?
Biafra is about living Nigeria. It's not about sitting down to talk.
When you keep saying nobody is leaving Nigeria. Nobody is leaving Nigeria.
You're talking from both sides of your mouth now. You say nobody is leaving Nigeria. Come on now.
No, my dear. You are in a marriage. When you say leaving Nigeria, people always say like they're going to pack their bags and physically leave the land. They're not leaving any land. They just want to be in their land. They don't want you to come and control them.
It's the
same thing. The same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Chidi, you're speaking English now. Biafra wants to go. Okay? At times they are waiting for a resolution for a peaceful nation. But Biafra
they have already Regina.
Yeah.
The point is this, and this is like when people want to be unfair to people. See, when people have tried, and I'm trying to tell you that you are failing to see ways in which the Biafran people have tried in the marriage.
How have you tried? Tell me now.
So we have tried. We have good.
No,
so when I explain to you why
the Igbo man dominates in the north.
You won't let me talk
hold on now. In the
when
north,
I explain to you,
the Igbo man owns all the shops in the north. When I was a copper in Yola,
I will let you talk again. When you're exhausted, I will talk.
Come on now. You say you've tried. You dominate the whole of Nigeria.
Calm down.
No, Chidi, you say you've tried. The Igbos dominate the economy in Nigeria. You go to Yola. The Igbos are everywhere. They have shops everywhere. You go to Akwa Ibom, they've taken all our land. You say you've tried. You own Nigeria. What else do you want, for goodness sake?
Let me tell you something. Let me
Okay.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
You've tried what?
Can I talk now?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Continue. Hold yourself, Atta. Your problem, and I've said this a lot of times, your problem is that the Igbo man dominates. You see, to that, I can't help you, my brother. It's your problem.
I have no problem with Igbo man.
You do. I think you do. Because
why do you want to live?
When you, again, all of these things that you have said, you are totally correct. And I will never for one day try to make a case for the Igbo man that they do not dominate. They do dominate. Let me tell you how they dominate, and that is what you try to do. I came to Canada in 27. I have houses here. People who came here 20 years, 30 years before me. Some of them are still living in apartment buildings. Look, my brother, yesterday night, I was walking till around 2 a.m. with my wife. We were making a washroom for somebody. I have a doctorate degree, but I still make washrooms and kitchens for people. That's the Igbo man in me, because that is me. Now, as long as it is a fair competition.
So what is unfair?
No, now
I'm asking you. You failed to answer that. What is unfair? What is unfair about
Nigeria? When I start answering, I'm trying to get to somewhere.
Now answer that question.
Because you started by saying they go here, they dominate, they go here. That's in their nature. When they come into a place, they
have no problem with you dominating. If you want to dominate Nigeria, but I'm saying what is unfair about you? You have everything already. You have the land in Akwa Ibom State. You have the north. What do you want? So what is unfair about this?
Okay, our problem. See our problem. You see our problem. Our problem is that in dominating, in doing my business, which you see as domination, okay, I come to a place where I see opportunities. Before I came, there was a need in the area. They needed a shop, but nobody has a shop. I now come and put a shop. When I put the shop, guess what? I need to bring my container. You know that my container that is in the high sea. Now that I have the shop in your village, I need to bring my container. But you are making it very difficult for my container to move from Lagos. That is unfair. Do you agree with that?
Are you the only person? Are you the only people that want to move container from Lagos to Onitsha? The Calabar man also wants to move his goods,
but
and also has to pay. Also has to bribe policemen.
Good, but the problem
the
is
people
that
are suffering.
The fact that you are willing to pay does not mean that I have to accept it.
Okay,
I don't accept it.
Okay, fine.
You want to remain enslaved. I don't want to be enslaved. What
fine.
problem do you have with that?
Fine.
That's unfair to me. What is unfair to me? It's okay for you. You're saying so because the Calabar man is willing to pay.
I am saying that everybody is still under this bad, unpatriotic system.
They want to. No, my patriotism is the fact that I'm telling you that as long as I am a citizen, even down to my fundamental human rights, I'm saying that when you are an obstruction to me enjoying my fundamental human rights, I refuse.
So I
don't care who considers it fair.
Okay, Chidi. So because you can't move your container from Apapa to Onitsha, you want to leave Nigeria. You want your own nation.
No. What I asked you.
Give me another example.
Okay, so listen now. I suggested.
Your Excellency, you're welcome. This is honorable. No, this is Idemiko, yeah?
Idemiko,
thank you. Sorry.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for breaking that conversation. That was becoming very, very.
No. Because people are listening, and people are reacting, and people are commenting. This is an issue that
welcome.
People are asking, why are Igbos
You're welcome, sir.
You're
welcome, sir. Let me finish my line of thought. So my line of thought is this. When the Igbo man, let me be specific right now, let's call names. When the Igbo man who has established that I'm a businessman, and this is what I want to do, I import containers from abroad, and these containers land in Lagos, and it is difficult for me to bring it to where I am doing my business. Okay. And you are making this uncomfortable to me, which you, Ata, agrees that there are 200 policemen on the road, but your point is that everybody pays the same thing.
Yes, everybody pays the same thing.
Listen now, the Igbo man says that so the Igbo man comes to you and says, Oga, listen, let me tell you something. You see, the reason why this good is 100 naira is because by the time I pay 10 naira to get to my shop, the money will increase. So, in order for us to have a very, very mutual agreement where everybody is well in the country, because I can do that, I have the power. But the reason is, if you can dredge the River Niger to in front of my shop, in that way, the container will come there, and I will not have to spend the money. Then it will bring down the price of the good. The good will be 20 naira. After suggesting that to you, the woman is perplexed that you still do not buy that idea. He's wondering why it is difficult for you to dredge the River Niger and bring. He's wondering why you still allow all those policemen on that road. Do you now see his problem? This is him. He expressed the problem to you, but after expressing that problem, you still have those policemen on the road. You still did not make these things easier for him.
Why doesn't the Igbo man pass his goods through Port Harcourt?
The same thing now. That's what we're telling you.
No. Hold on. There's a port close to the southeast.
Calabar. What happened to Calabar? What happened to Calabar?
Calabar is because you cannot drag Calabar. Calabar is not a natural seaport.
And you say you can't dredge it. You started saying something. Say you can't dredge it.
Yes, because every time they've dredged it, The government have spent so much money dredging it, and sand just goes back in. It is not a natural seaport. I'm telling you now.
Swiss Canal.
You
How did you
know more
build?
than my
How did
area.
you build the Swiss Canal? How did you build the Swiss Canal? What are you trying to say? Look, I'm an engineer, my brother. For you to say it's not possible, it's not right.
Okay, Chidi.
They can do anything they want with that Calabar port if they want.
Okay,
if you can build the Swiss Canal and ships can pass in it, who told you cannot dredge?
Okay, Chidi. Last question. All right.
Go ahead.
Now that you say that these are the reasons why Igbos want to leave Nigeria, because ships are not allowed to come to.
No.
Now you've not said any other thing.
It's one of the problems.
You've not said any other thing. Chidi,
let me talk.
Chidi,
I gave you so many reasons in the past.
Chidi,
calm down.
For a second. Can I jump in for a second?
Chidi,
we have a guest from Ukraine that has joined us. Mr. Vincent Lin, you're welcome to the program. And in a little bit, we'll be talking about your experiences in Ukraine. But right now, we're listening to Mr. Chidi. Maya will talk about the inequalities that the Igbo man or the Igbo nation is facing in Nigeria. And Ata is trying to suggest ways to move forward and reconcile the nation as one. But the general consensus or the general thought pattern is, if we have an Igbo president, will he be minded? Will he have the political will to erase these inequalities? It seems the agitation for Biafra is, will continue. The problems will continue with or without a president from the Igbo nation. This is what we're trying to.
One last question.
You see what has happened? And
one last question, Regina.
Let me tell you why I'm upset right now. You see what
somebody says. Don't be upset. We've listened to you for an hour.
In a bid, because this is your program, you guys invited me to this program, but in a bid to try to toe your line, in a bid to try to follow you, someone now says Chidi is not the right person, and it's not about seaport. Making it about seaport, I went back and I told you about the things that the people in the Southeast face, starting from the oil to the school, to the roads, to the hospitals, and you still don't think that is enough reason.
No,
and I'm trying to tell you that you have a right to feel that those are not enough.
Yes, I agree.
And a person who is crying, you don't come and tell them, oh, you're crying because they beat you. When somebody, it's only when they cut your finger that you can start crying.
Chidi, I accept that those things can upset you. Those things that upset you might not upset me. So here's my question. When did the Igbo people come together, lead a high-powered delegation, or come together, have an Igbo conference and talked about these issues, or went to the federal government and said, look here, specific. When did Nnamdi Kanu ask to sit down with a minister or with the president and say, look, these are the issues we have, and we want to talk about these issues? When did that ever happen?
So because when it happened, the fact that you're asking that question,
Biafra is about leaving Nigeria. Biafra is about negotiation.
The fact that you asked that question shows how uninformed that you are, and I say this with a lot of respect, because all through this question, you always ask me, and I go, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu held a meeting with the Southeast governors. Even at that meeting, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and I just finished the program before yours, he even gave them options. This was when they were even talking about structuring. He held a meeting with them.
What were the options? What were the options? The options that you don't do.
Let's not drag it out. Let us not drag it out.
The fact that Regina, let's accept this. And as Ata, let me do like you. You need to accept that you were wrong when you said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not tried to meet with the authorities.
You can't put a gun on my head and tell me if you don't do this, I will leave.
No.
That is not negotiation. You are not negotiating.
You just said, but can you accept
on the head of the government?
It was not a gun.
They invited him. Finish today. Will not end today.
If Ata does not own up that he didn't know, now he knows. I will leave your program.
So you have at every step of the discussion.
Chidi and I were brothers.
Yes.
No. Regina, he asked me, and
Yes.
after you need
And you
to
have answered very well. You have answered every question.
Do you now
very
accept?
well.
No. Atta, do you now accept that you were wrong in thinking that meeting? He was called to the meeting by the governors. He went to that meeting. It was at the government house in Enugu. It involved all the other governors, and he came to the meeting. He didn't put a gun in anybody's head.
Had he started agitating about leaving Nigeria at that time? Yes.
You are still not informed. Of course.
I'm asking you now. I'm
telling you. No, you see, under what premise? What was the foundation upon which we are standing to strongly say that he did not? You would have said you didn't know.
Okay.
So now that you know, would you now apologize?
Can we have a second part to this discussion? Can we continue with this discussion? We have forgotten all about His Excellency waiting to join us.
If Atta insists and I say okay, if it's, you see, but it's okay. That's why I'm an Igbo man. I don't have pride. Okay. But his pride will not let him accept. So it's okay.
All right, we accept. We accept. Let us have a concluding part to this discussion.
Thank you.
And I hope that the next time we get together, we'll be talking about Truth and Reconciliation Committee, working actively towards the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Because in all, if you take God mind, look this matter, we should all be together as a strong nation. Our numbers give us the power we have as the giants of Africa. We can fix things. We can talk about things. We can repair what has been broken. And that is why we live for another day. That's why we have the gift to live another day, just for an opportunity to right our wrongs and make things better and make lives better for, our fellow human beings and our communities. And, forgiveness is the answer. Moving forward is the answer.
That's it. Resolution.
It's not breaking up. It's not fighting. It's not strife. It's not
war.
No. It's not murder.
Regina, sometimes breaking up a marriage is a solution. Even you have subscribed to that. I'm sure you've said that several times.
You had me on your interview, and I showed you that we got help. All right, and we did not subscribe to that. We got help. We repaired a fractured relationship, and we were able to move on.
No, but Regina, with due respect, how can you, a woman, agree that sometimes divorce is the situation so that the woman doesn't die in a marriage, and you come here again and you say it's not an option?
No, but get help. Get help.
And when the help fails,
which help has failed? Which help has failed? We're talking about
help now. Get help.
Which help has failed?
I will come back to you on Saturday.
Chidi, I need you to be a part of what we
are. No, we are past that one. No,
you see, you're getting for trouble. All right, so let's continue next Saturday.
All the time we're asking you for reconciliation. Where were you? You
stay with us. Stay with us, Your Excellency. Let's continue next Saturday.
It reached our area. Now you're telling me to do settlement.
Okay. Okay. So
we got all the money you stole. Then we can talk settlement.
Give us all the areas that you have dominated, and we'll settle.
I bought it. I have it. If you want, you can buy the land back.
Oh my goodness! I have the mic.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. Kindly welcome His Excellency Ikkideh, and let him say a few words, and then we go to a friend from Ukraine. Ukraine has affected the whole world. Ukraine has caused inflation, or is it Biden inflation or whatever? I don't know. The war in Ukraine has really impacted the whole world. We'll take a minute to talk about the war in Ukraine and your efforts to help alleviate some of the suffering that is going on there. Right now, we give the mic to the governorship aspirant from Akwa Ibom State, Ikkideh. Please say a few words.
Nice to be back on board. Apologies for joining late. You know how unpredictable our network can be out here. So finally was able to get in. So that's good. Looking forward to some real nice discussions around the roadmap to 2023.
Yeah. So the reason why I invited Ikkideh is because something happened, I think, last week when they had the World Congress for delegates. And basically, there was this accusation that the Akwa Ibom state government hijacked the entire process and took away materials, wrote lists, and just read the entire process. And we had aspirants like
Chidi,
you.
I'm looking for you, please.
We had aspirants like you. We had Oba. and come out, I kind condemn the process. And so I wanted you to talk to us just for a few minutes. What happened on that day? Because you're a key player in what is happening right now in our country. What happened that day?
Well, it's very clear that the entire process was, to say the least, very shambolic. I didn't see any ward delegates Congress take place in my ward, Asutan Ward 1, where I reside. I think I'm in a very strong position to say that election did not take place. It was technically, I would say, masterminded in a way that, all the pictures that we see, the video clips around, this happened, only took place in the, I would say, selective wards where you have political appointees, their ward locations, to give an impression that these things did happen. It didn't happen. I didn't see one in my place. My folks were out from about 8 a.m. till about 7 p.m. at night. Nothing happened, and we had to call it a day. My wife had to ensure she could get food for the party members who had come out in large numbers to participate in the Congress. So it's a pity. It's really a shame that people could be so disenfranchised when we are talking about improving our democratic practice.
So what is happening now? Because I think when I spoke to you, was it today or yesterday? You said there was a protest taking place that afternoon at the PDP headquarters.
Yes. I think a coalition of Igbo political groups based in Abuja, who PDP inclined, felt very upset about the information they were getting. They had also probably had a monitoring team to go around and get their own first-hand information. So they had a big rally protest at the PDP secretariat, calling for the cancellation of the entire process. So that's,
so what's the way forward?
It's been in the news. It was well carried in the news media yesterday. So I understand the National Working Council of the party met today, most likely met on Friday and today to review all the petitions coming from different quarters on the congresses, and hopefully we should get a report by next week. So that's what everyone is waiting to see, what the outcome would be.
So Ikkideh, let me ask you a specific question. Do you think the Governor Dom Emmanuel is behind this?
Well, it's difficult.
Or is it his lieutenants that are doing this? Is it the governor masterminding this haste going on right now?
It's like the story of the fish, right? When the fish is rotten, where does it start from?
That's very sad. That's very sad. It's very unfortunate. So before you go, let me ask you, so what's the way forward now? What's the way forward?
Well, I was at a ward meeting earlier on today, and I did make a reference to the beautiful poetry by Martin Niemöller, the German Lutheran pastor during the Second World War. The poet that talks about not doing anything because you're not involved. Hitler came for the socialists. I didn't do anything because I wasn't a socialist. He came for the trade unionists. I didn't do anything because I'm not a unionist. He came for the Jews, and I did nothing because I wasn't a Jew until he came for me. So, I tell my folks that, I tell the delegates every time, things start off. You start off by, an attempted imposition of the candidate, and people just shrug their shoulders and say, well, it's happened before. They keep quiet, and it keeps on percolating all the way down. So we just have to be able to stand up against agents who want to destroy our democracy. And for me, it's about going through the process and ensuring that hopefully that the process can stand up for itself and be strong enough, and we can get out feeling better. That's it. So I may not have gone out to, but I've been like I did mention to with my media organization put out a press statement.
Yes, I saw that.
Also join hands to see what we can do to ensure we can get some redress from the system to go into the process that the party has provided. Because one of the things you need to do is that you need to be mindful of is don't break. If there's a process, try and test the process. And see if truly that process can stand the test of time.
Thank you so much, Ikkideh. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll keep inviting you. And at this juncture, we're going to hand the mic over to our friend from Ukraine. Regina, over to you.
Thanks so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you for coming, and thank you for always supporting us. Whenever we call for your support and participation, you show up. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So we have Vincent. Our friend is Vincent from Ukraine.
Hello,
Vincent,
Regina.
can you introduce yourself? I keep saying from Ukraine. You are from New York. You are a personal trainer to many people from Hollywood. And you're a black belt. Talk to us a little bit about yourself and what took you to Ukraine and why. Why were you motivated to go there?
Yeah, I know. Well, first of all, Regina, thank you for having me on. I know you've been trying to get me on for a couple of weeks, even when I actually was in Ukraine. I'm actually right now in Miami visiting my father. It's his 85th birthday, so.
Congratulations.
And unfortunately, I couldn't get on earlier because I had an interview for a global entry, so I had to run over to the airport. So sorry. It seems like I missed a very heated discussion.
That's how we roll.
That's how we do it in Nigeria.
I hear you. I hear this. Well, again, thank you. So, oh geez, beyond all my previous back life of being in the entertainment industry, I started a foundation 7 years ago called We Can Save Children. And basically it's helping children, orphan children, refugee children, children caught up in conflict, in war, trafficked children. And the work has taken me from East to West Africa, from Ghana to South Sudan to Uganda. Also throughout the Middle East, from Iraq to Syria, Palestine, oh my goodness, Lebanon. And actually when Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, I was actually in Syria helping some Syrian families there. It was my second trip to Syria. And so obviously Syria know full well about how ruthless Putin's army has been, especially inside Syria, the use of chemical weapons and so forth on children. And of course, there are at least 10,000 troops still stationed in northwest Syria. One of the reasons, obviously, is because of Syria's natural resource of oil deposits, which is in northeastern Syria. So as I followed the war, the first week or so, I called a colleague of mine who's a former member of parliament in Latvia, which is one of the Baltic states, and obviously one of the countries that know full well of Russia's wrath. And the three countries, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, got their independence in 1991. Mm-hmm. So I called my friend Yanis and I said, I see, obviously what's happening. What's the feeling in Latvia right now? He says, well, we are very, very worried about the situation because of obviously then and still the case of will this war roll over into some of the bordering countries. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what's happening, you know, on the ground? He said, well, right now, because Latvia was one of the first countries actually to aid Ukraine. So they started sending convoys basically on a daily basis back and forth with humanitarian
And you
aid.
went to Latvia?
Yes. So I basically said to Yanis, I said, look, is there anything I can do to help and aid? I said, so I flew back from Syria, Lebanon to New York, and within 10 days, I was back on a plane and landed back in New York and flew back to Riga in Latvia.
Okay.
And met up with my colleague. And so basically what I did was I partnered up with a very big NGO in Latvia. And we put a team together and a number of vehicles and brought humanitarian aid, which is basically, you know, was medical supplies and everything down to, you know, soap and food and so forth. And we drove it. It was a 13-hour drive from Latvia through Lithuania, through Poland, across the border.
Yeah. And your safety? How did you maintain your safety?
Well, one can look at it by the graces of the Almighty above. You know, I'll tell you, when we got to the border, it was very, very early in the morning. And of course, at this point, most Ukrainian civilians are armed at this, you know, at this juncture. Yeah. Also, Ukraine has been, since the inception of the war, been under curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So we decided to wait until the sun came up because we didn't want to cross in complete darkness. And, you know, even though our big vehicles have the flag of Latvia and signs of Red Cross and humanitarian aid, but we didn't want to chance it and get shot by, you know, local Ukrainian citizens because of being nervous. So we decided to wait until the sun came up. So as we're sitting at the Ukraine border, a couple of the Ukrainian border guards started, after they realized who we were and what our reason for coming there was, they started letting us know about the story that just had happened 20, 30 minutes before we arrived. And basically it was a school bus of young children, boys and girls, Ukrainian children who were being evacuated to a medical facility in Poland. The children were from the ages of around 8 to 15 years of age.
Chidi, I hope you're listening to war.
The girls had been systematically raped as young as 10. The soldier, he's telling us his story. Of course, he's crying. We're all very emotional, of course. He said the boys had all their teeth smashed out with the butts of the rifle. Some of the boys even had their teeth pulled out with pliers. So this is what we're hearing. We haven't even set foot in the country yet.
Wow.
So we had a 2-hour. Yes, sorry.
So this trip is to share or to deliver relief materials you have brought to.
That is correct. Yeah, humanitarian aid, correct, Regina. But there was a secondary reason, which I felt was just as important, if not more important, was that to try to see if we can evacuate and rescue some citizens. Most of the refugees that have left Ukraine, 80% are women and children. And I think the numbers right now, after speaking with the Houses of Parliament in London after the trip, the numbers now, I think, are around 5.5 million. Whereas
That
I
is
think
so sad.
12 plus million inside the country have been internally displaced. So you're talking at least more than a quarter of the population of Ukraine have been displaced. According to what British intelligence told me, they said that up to nearly 1 million Ukrainian women and children, I should say mothers bringing their children, have gone back to Ukraine to be with their husbands, because obviously in Ukraine, able-bodied men between the ages of 18 to 60 have to stay and defend their country. But many mothers and children have taken, have gone back to support their husbands. So this is quite amazing, considering what is happening inside the country.
Is the I'm sorry to jump in. Is the parliament supporting you or helping you out in any way? Like, why did you need to present your findings to the parliament? Are they sponsoring? Are they supporting? Are they helping you?
Well, okay. That's kind of a twofold question. Number one, before I went into Ukraine, I spent a week in Latvia and basically spoke with different members of the Latvian parliament. When I arrived inside Ukraine, I then also partnered with another local and Ukrainian NGO to make sure that the supplies that we were delivering gets to the right people, and not because people, as you know, there's always corruption. There's always people who would take advantage of people suffering.
Yes.
So this is why at the border of Ukraine, there has been a lot of human trafficking going on, because here you have women and children who are in distress, who are suffering, who speak Ukrainian or Russian language, and they're at the border trying to figure out, am I going to go to Poland? Am I going to go to Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, all these other bordering nations? And so you will have men there saying, oh yes, I have a vehicle and I'm going to such and such a place. And then, the women and children end up in Albania or Bulgaria and suffering, being trafficked. So this has also been going on, because we're talking, we haven't seen the likes of this kind of refugee crisis since World War II. And it actually, in a way, is worse, because this has happened over the course of not even 3 months, as opposed to World War II that lasted 6 years. So this has happened in such a short time that it's really put undue stress, as you said in the beginning, Regina. This really has affected the entire world.
Yes.
Because Ukraine, as we know, is the breadbasket of the world.
Yes.
So third world countries.
So bread in Nigeria is going to be more expensive. Well,
this is the thing. It's going to affect many African nations, if not the whole entire African continent. Other third world countries in Southeast Asia. I mean, it's affecting the bread prices in America, everywhere in the world it will. And in a year from now, if the war continues, as I believe it will do, oh yeah, you'll be lucky if you find a loaf of bread. So so anyway, when I got to Ukraine, I then met up with government officials in Ukraine and police officials there to find out the situation, obviously on the ground, to interview documented atrocities. So this is why, first of all, this is why I took the trip to London to speak, and I had the opportunity to speak with the top MPs at the Houses of Parliament on documented atrocities. It's also, I've been asked to speak at the United Nations on June 14th, also about documented atrocities.
I would like to have footage of that. If you could share.
Of course. Yes, of course. So as I said, my secondary, what I felt was maybe just as important, or not even more important. Once we delivered the aid, we had empty vans. I said, look, we've got to try to get people out if we can. And so, yes.
Okay.
And so there's this kind of huge network through WhatsApp that my colleague basically was checking on. So what would happen was, for example, somebody would come up on it and say, oh, I'm stuck at the train station. I'm trying to get to Warsaw, or I'm trying to get to Riga.
So you went around getting people, rescuing people.
That is correct.
Wow.
So we went, the first stop was 5:30 in the morning to the Lviv train station. Lviv is the largest western city in Ukraine, and about 800,000 people. In fact, Angelina Jolie was just there. You know, if you saw that footage of her, there was air raids going on, and she had to be escorted to a bunker and what have you. So we picked up a 72-year-old woman who had escaped from eastern Ukraine, and she was trying to get to the capital city of Latvia, which is obviously where we were going to meet up with her son. She had her 4 fingers severed.
Oh, no.
No.
This tiny, cute, such a huge smile on her face, this fragile little woman. We picked up another 31-year-old female trying to make her way to Warsaw to get to the Netherlands, which was where her mother and son were. And then when we got to Warsaw, we picked up a family who'd been, it was a 7-month-old child. The mother, it was her 41st birthday, and they had she had an 11-year-old son. They'd been traveling for 3 days from Kherson, which is now totally occupied by Russian troops. And she was making her way to Latvia as well, which is where also her sister had been evacuated. And you know that.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah, of course, please.
Yeah. My question, sir, is sometimes I love going back to the foundation of a problem in order to walk my way to where we are now. Now, you remember that after the Cold War, after the USSR had embraced democracy to an extent, okay, all right. After the Cold War, and the USSR had disbanded their own military alliance. I can't remember what it was called. Now, what do you say to people who say that NATO was not necessary after the Cold War? Because remember that the whole reason why NATO was birthed was, okay, part of the reason was what happened during the Second World War, but also this tension and this conflict, this cold conflict between the East and the West. Now, here's what people are saying. After USSR had surrendered, in a sense, and after the republics, the republics had left the USSR and they become independent. Why was it necessary for NATO to still exist as a military alliance when the threat was no more there? Because here's the argument of Putin and some people, that it's the presence of NATO that has caused this nervousness in Russia, and leaders, nationalistic leaders like Putin, to say, look, you guys are on our turf, and you're still a threat to us. We're not a threat to you, okay? You're still a threat to us. Finally, there is a document. That shows, and I wish I had that document here because it's somewhere on my phone. that there was an agreement that NATO, after the Cold War, NATO was not going to expand to the east, all right? And NATO broke that agreement and began to expand to the east and began to bring in former republics under the USSR into the alliance. What do you say about this?
This is a huge question. This is a huge question. And if we start this question, we're not going to finish today. Can we book Vincent for Saturday? Can we book Vincent for
Can he just answer for 3 minutes?
No,
there are people that want to.
Of opening a Pandora's box. Let's
no, well, Regina, you're so right about Pandora's box.
Yes.
You know,
because this conversation will not end today.
No,
yeah, that week, even 3 minutes is certainly not enough.
Yes, and
you know what?
Us out.
It's a very, very, really sensitive question, and I'll answer it in just in a couple of things. Is that since I've gone, when I was in Ukraine, okay, speaking of NATO, speaking of United Nations, there wasn't everybody I spoke to in Ukraine, doesn't matter if it's government official, police official, the average person, the average business owner, just the average blue collar worker, whatever. They said to me, what the hell is the point of the UN? What have they done? What are they doing? What are they doing for us? And you know, I'll have to agree in every which way in that, because my experiences with the UN, which there are a lot, and I have lots of colleagues in high positions at the UN, but I will have to say every time, and unfortunately, and I don't like it, but I don't have any choice at this point. Every time I get involved with politicians, government institutions, organizations, the bureaucracy, every time we seem to try to, like we're getting somewhere to make some concrete decisions, I would say 99% of the time, with all good intention, they're always knocked down at the 11th hour. And it doesn't matter what country I've been in, whether it's Syria or Lebanon, Iraq, and of course, South Sudan, Uganda, Ghana. It's the same thing over and over again.
So you don't trust politicians and their decisions?
It's a shame. So, you know, and is NATO any different? In a way, if we look at NATO, if we look at the UN, they're kind of, they're in many ways, they're attached at the hip. I can speak at least for the Baltic nations, because they're the ones, the three, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, who got their independence from the USSR in '91. They're certainly better off because of it. And they certainly know full well the wrath of and brutality of what they suffered under the Soviets. So, you know, it's a tough spot, you know. I don't know.
Somebody made a comment. He said, America and NATO afraid of Russia. They weren't going to help Ukraine either. Why cause them to go into war? Now who is losing? Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for the answer for Atta's question. But the thing is,
I think we're all losing though here.
Yes.
And certainly, who's losing the most? Ukraine, of course.
Yes.
But everybody's losing.
So let's talk about this question on Saturday. The question we're going to leave this place with today is, did NATO break an agreement not to expand in? Yes. So did NATO break that agreement or not? And is Russia right in reacting the way they did by invading Ukraine? So we're going to book Vincent for next Saturday and continue with this line of discussion. we are exhausted, Ata. We cannot continue.
All right. let me make a comment and I'll leave.
Okay.
Or I mean, before we close.
Oh, yes. Excuse me. One thing, just so that you also, so that I can say this. Two things actually, quickly. We've already planned to go back to Ukraine at the beginning of July, because we're taking, number one, an actual, this time a film crew with us, and we're going much further into the country, actually planning on going to the capital city of Kiev, and also when I left London, we spoke with the Miles Stacey OBE. He's a chief advisor to Prime Minister Boris Johnson. So I already have from Miles Stacey that Mr. PM Boris Johnson wants to hear what I have to say. So I guess this is a good thing. Whether it will do anything, who knows? But, you know, if I can speak face to face with him and then tell him the things that are going on. You know what I was really, I wouldn't use the word shocked, but I was surprised when I spoke with Parliament. They were shocked at the things I was telling them. And I said, you guys should know a lot more than I said, yes, I was there. I said, but I think what's happened is, especially in mainstream media, a lot of the things of personal atrocities have not been broadcasted. You know, they've seen mass graves, of course, because of satellite executions.
So you're going to share your footage with us, right? Because you're going to the capital city.
Yeah, this is in July, my dear. First week of July, I'm going.
So
yeah.
You are going to be in the UN and you're going to go to the capital city. All this footage we want to share. We would appreciate if you share with us.
Okay.
The point I wanted to make.
Yes,
go ahead, Chidi, please.
Yeah, the point I wanted to make is to your guests is have you kind of wondered, or has it really ever like has it ever bothered you that the atrocities that are going on in Ukraine, while they are highly condemnable, that it would take so much center stage, and yet in Africa, in Nigeria, we've had far worse, and even as we speak, things are happening around the world, and especially in Africa where help is needed, but it doesn't seem to really bother anybody in the Western world. I've heard someone say, well, you know what, it is what it is. News coming out of these places, they are not it's not a priority to countries like maybe America or the US or Europe. So I mean, I hope people understand why there's a certain apathy from people in Africa, because like we're like, all the things you're talking about, it happens every day. It's still happening, and like it's still the same human beings, same crisis, same blood that people bleed. What is happening in where all of North Africa, even inside Nigeria, we have all this crisis happening. People are being killed, people are being butchered, and these are places that people can step into, governments, NGOs. But how come it's not fascinating to people?
I'll tell you exactly why, and it's a great question, because I asked the same question. I was asked this exact same question from my colleagues in Palestine, Iraq, Syria. Because just like in many, many parts of Africa, the same horrific atrocities, even in many ways, maybe worse in the Middle East as well. you know, especially with the use of chemical weapons and so forth on children. And why is there a double standard? Why has what's happened in Ukraine taken front center stage over these atrocities and genocide that's been committed, you know, in Nigeria, in South Sudan, in Democratic Republic of Congo, and Iraq, and Syria for sure? And I'll tell you exactly the words from a member of parliament in Latvia, and I'll try to say it as close to his what he told me. And he said, let me not try to be cynical. That's the word he used, cynical. He said, but we are all used to it happening in the Middle East and in Africa. It's like, oh, Middle East again. Oh, Africa again. Oh, another tribe. Oh,
It's
ISIS, Boko Haram, Taliban. It's like, you know, we're used to it. No big deal. He said, but the problem is, he says, now, here we are. This is Europe. And so white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Europe. That hasn't happened in 80 years since the end of World War II. And here it is on our doorstep. And so the Western world is now threatened, not just in other parts of Europe, but it's, you know, threatening America and so forth. And that was his answer, you know. And
yeah, which
it's very sad, that it is that way. But you know, this is the answer from a member of parliament. Yeah. So,
yes,
okay.
And that's a very sad answer, that we have normalized things like that in nations that don't really, in quote unquote, count, and nations that don't really bring the money in terms of, because war is a lucrative business for the people who stand to gain money from it. So next time we'll continue with this conversation. And we thank all our viewers for hanging out with us. We thank His Excellency for sitting in and causing a very heated session. Mr. Vincent, I will talk with you and book you for Saturday or whenever you have time, because it's very difficult to catch you. And
well, you said next Saturday 1 o'clock, so I can do that.
Okay, so we look forward to talking more with you. And at time, my co-presenter from London, thank you for spending your afternoon.
Thank you.
To close out.
Oh, in London. Where in London are you, sir?
Essex.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I was there a few weeks ago.
Wow.
All right, everybody. I'd like to say thank you for joining us. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.
I'm abroad too. I'm abroad.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm in Canada.
Is it Onisha?
I'm abroad.
Thank you, everybody.
I don't want to tell you go man side there abroad. See you now.
Bye. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Nice to meet you. Thank you.